Hello, kindergarten. Are you ready? Well, let's get started with our amazing animal alphabet. Let's go over the letters we've already learned. A. A. The alligator is angry. Ah, ah, ah. B. B. The bear blows bubbles. B, b, b. C. C. The caterpillar cuts. K, k, k. D. The dinosaur dances. D, d, d. D, 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 d. I like D. Well, it's time for two new letters. And one of our letters is a vowel. Vowels are awesome letters. E is a vowel. Let me read you the story about E the elephant. E the elephant exercises in the evenings by eagerly lifting 80-pound weights. Eh, 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 he exclaims as he lifts the enormous weights. E the elephant exhales, eh, 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 each and every time he lifts the 80-pound weights. He exhales, eh, 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 as he exercises 11 more times. E the elephant is now exhausted from his energetic exercising. Can you exercise like E the elephant? So grab a weight, just a pretend one, and go like this. Eh, eh, eh. That's the sound E makes. Eh. Eh, eh, eh. Eh, eh, eh. E the elephant exercises. Let's do another. F the flamingo freezes. F the flamingo freezes. F the flamingo foolishly follows a famous falcon to a far-off place frozen with frost. Is the faint sound she makes as she freezes. Her feathers are freezing. Her feet are freezing. She exclaims, "This freezing weather is too cold for me." F the flamingo was a fool to follow a famous falcon. "I'm going to fly back home to my family," she cries. Thank you for doing that with me. Let's review all. That's 6 letters you know already. No, 6 letter sounds? What a smart group I have. A, the alligator is angry. Ah, ah, ah. B, the bear blows bubbles. B, b, b. C, the caterpillar cuts. K, k, k. D, the dinosaur dances. D, d, d. E, the elephant exercises. Eh, eh, eh. And F, the flamingo freezes. Do you know how to write all of those letters? You can practice today if you don't. I like these letters. They are important. I'm going to use just those letters to make some words today. We have our vowels, A and E. A makes a sound, ah. E makes a sound, eh. Good. And then we're just going to use, I'm not even going to use the C today. I'm just going to use B, F, and D. Oh, I wanted to use the letter R, which we haven't learned yet. But let's see if I have it. There it is. R. R makes a sound R, R, R. So I want to use it because it's going to make a cool word that I like. R. And what sound is E? Eh. And D? D. R, eh, D. If we just combine the first 2 sounds, that will help get us started. Re, re, red, red. This is the word red. Do you like the color red? Let's bump out the E, put in an A. R-a-d, rad, rad, rad. Rad is another way to say cool. What if I tried this? Add, add, fad, fad. Fad is something that's popular. Ooh. ab, fab, fab. Fab isn't a real word, but it's at the beginning of the word fabulous, and you are fabulous. We haven't used our D yet. Let's try that one. D, a, b. Blend the first two together. Da, dab, dab. Dab, that means to touch softly. Like maybe you'll dab paint on your art project. And let's switch our vowel one more time. D, e, b. Deb, Deb, Deb. That's a name. It's short for Deborah. Deb. Thank you for reading with me. It is time for us to talk about our reading skill this week. And we've done this before. We found the main idea of something we've read. Today we're going to find the main idea. Remember, that's the thing it's mostly about. And then we'll find some details about the main idea. Here's our little chart. This is the big circle spot. It's for our main idea. You will listen to a story and then we will write the main idea of the story here. Then we will write some supporting details. Those are the small parts of the story about the main idea. Here. So go ahead and listen. There are no pictures in this story. It's just words. So if you want to close your eyes while you listen, you can. And while you close your eyes, you can imagine the things you hear about. Today we are reading informational text. That's nonfiction. It's not pretend. This is real. So I will only tell you real things in this story. Are you ready? The story is called How Animals Find Their Way. Animals often move or migrate from one area to another in order to find food or shelter in the winter. They will go back to the same area every year. But how do they find their way? Different animals use different ways to find their way from their summer home to their winter home and back. Animals that travel during the day use the sun as a guide or compass. Animals that travel at night use the stars as a guide. Other animals, like birds, and some sea animals, use a magnetic force that is given off by the North and South poles. Some animals find their way the same way you do. They use landmarks, like trees, mountains, and rivers and lakes, to get from one place to another. Scientists are still learning about animals and their migration patterns, but they believe that some animals use more than one way to find their way. What did you think of that story? It wasn't very long, but it had a lot of information in it. It's an informational text that told us real things about animals. What was the main thing it was talking about that the whole story I read was about? The main thing, or the main idea it talked about, was how animals find their way. There's usually a hint of the main idea in your title, and the title of this is How Animals Find Their Way. Well, that was a good hint. It told us exactly what it was about. So, we are learning about how the animals find their way. So we have how animals find their way. How do they get from their summer home to their winter home and back again? How do they get there? Did you hear any details? There were some different ways that different animals find their way. It said that animals that travel during the day use something that's big and bright as a compass. What was it? It was the sun. Some animals find their way by following the sun. It said also some animals that travel at night travel using something else as their compass, as their guides. What was it? The stars. Do you remember any of the other details? There were a few more, but today I'm just going to write down one. I think I'm going to write down the way that animals find their way that's kind of like how I find my way, by using landmarks, the things I can see. In the story, it listed trees, rivers, mountains, and lakes. The story also said that some other animals like birds and sea creatures can use the magnetic pole of the North and South poles. Those magnetic forces help them understand which way to go. The story also says scientists are learning about new ways animals find their way when they migrate north or south, when they move from their summer homes or to the winter homes. Here you have the main idea, how animals find their way. And I used pictures to show the details. Some animals use the sun, some animals use stars, some animals use landmarks. There you go. That's the main idea and details. As you read this week, find the main idea and details of the stories you read, both the stories you read in Savas and the stories you read with your family. There are main ideas and details for fiction or nonfiction books. This time, we did nonfiction. I will see you soon. Bye, kindergarten.